Don Lemon says Elon Musk canceled his deal after with X after tense interview. Got a couple clips that we want to show you. And Rob, do you have any of the clips here that we can show? So this is him on CNN, kind of giving a glimpse of what the conversation was like. Go ahead and play this clip, Rob. Let's see some of the stuff that they spoke about.
You recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys talk about?
I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
What did you discuss?
Let's just say he did most of the talking.
Did he ask you for money?
He didn't.
Are you going to loan him money to help pay his legal bills?
I'm not paying his legal bills in any way, shape, or form.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No.
Are you leaning towards anyone?
No.
You're not leaning towards anyone? Because you've been very...
I'm leaning away from Biden.
You're leaning
from Biden?
Well said.
From Biden, he said?
Yeah.
He said
I'm leaning away from
Biden.
somebody, meaning like,
Gotcha.
he definitely doesn't
Did he
want to...
say Biden?
He didn't say Biden. He said from someone. Go ahead and play this other clip, and then we'll react to it. Go ahead.
More like a deposition interview.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Go ahead.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats?
I don't have to answer these questions.
The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that...
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
So, Tom, reaction to this interview?
Well, first of all, it kind of disappoints me. Don Lemon is a professional. It didn't seem like an interview where you want to get people talking and you want to dive into issues. It really felt like a deposition. Where were you on the night of the 5th? Were you drinking? There's a receipt that says you were drinking. My gosh, it was like bing, bing, bing. And finally, Elon Musk says what we all would expect. Hang on, dude. You asked to have this conversation because you're on X. I'm not doing interviews like this. I'm getting constantly criticized. And so I was kind of disappointed in Don Lemon's angle. And also, Don Lemon, if you're going to be an investigative reporter, dude, you got to understand, you asked him a direct question about FCC 230, and every one of the social medias don't want to be called a publisher under FCC 230. This is a major issue. Don't you have a responsibility to moderate hate speech? Defining what hate speech is and isn't and moderating it and have a bunch of censorship or canceling or back and forth puts you exactly where people like X, Facebook, Insta don't want to be, is declared to be moderators under FCC 230. I was kind of hoping we would see the Don Lemon that had a very pragmatic viewpoint several years ago. We saw him talking about the African-American community, very positive messages of how to move up. I was kind of hoping after a little bit of a break that maybe that Don Lemon would come back without a liberal producer in his ear, but I didn't see it here. I saw a guy almost like with an axe to grind.
Yeah, and by the way, so on Twitter, Rob, if you can pull this up. So this is what X Business said. X is a platform that champions free speech, and we're proud to provide an open environment for diverse voices and perspective. The Don Lemon Show is welcome to publish its content without censorship, as we believe in providing a platform for creators to scale for their work and connect with new communities. However, we reserve the right to make decisions about our business partnership and careful consideration. X decided not to enter into a commercial partnership with the show. However, the challenge with this whole thing is that Don Lemon is saying, if you go to the other tweet, he's saying that Elon said on May 10th, 2023, which is about a year ago, have you considered doing your show on this platform? Maybe worth a try. Audience is much bigger. And he was kind of
That's a businessman, though, right?
Of course he is. Yeah, totally fine.
Eyeballs.
But what are your thoughts about this whole thing?
Well, when I saw that CNN Chiron, I was like, wait, I thought it was a joke. Like, didn't they just paid him $25 million not to work with him anymore?
That wasn't a settlement, by the way. Remember, that was just paying out his contract.
Yeah.
He didn't get any extra pennies.
But they fired him, correct?
That's right. And then they paid the contract they signed out.
Paid the contract. Now you bring him back to talk to him. It's kind of like a shit show. It's just, this is one of the reasons, that attitude, that arrogance, that because the comments he made about women, it was about the older women in their prime. That's what got him fired. It's just unattractive, just as a person. I think the case got dropped, but you know what type of, he was accused in 2018. This type of guy that Don Lemon is. Do you remember this, Tom?
You get emotional?
I'm very emotional, Pat.
This is
well, no. It got dropped, but he was at a bar, and multiple people said that they saw and heard this. He put his hand down. This is Don Lemon. This is classy Don Lemon. Allegedly, put his hand down his crotch, rubbed it on the waiter's face, and said...
Rubbed his hand on the waiter's face.
Rubbed his hand on the waiter's face and said some really choice words. People heard it, but apparently... somebody must have gone and talked to this waiter because the waiter, you know what the waiter said? After I took a deep dive into my memory, let me say this right. Ready for this? He goes, I took a deep dive into my memory and I don't really recall it anymore. You know what that sounds like? Somebody went and paid him to shut the hell up. But just that arrogance and that attitude of Don Lemon, I get why Elon Musk wouldn't want to work with him with partner up. You can still be on the platform, right, Pat?
Of course.
He can still do his thing, but you're not going to be getting paid for it.
But Elon did put that tweet out saying, hey, I welcome a lot of people.
Come. I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah, I'm sure Don Lemon was okay with that deep dive by that guy right there.